Hi everybody, so today we're going to be making a firebird set of wings behind me, but before we do that, we have to shape feathers. So I have a bunch of yellow and orange feathers that are nice and rounded. These are turkey quills, and they're a really good stiff feather. Like, they hold their shape really well. Like, they don't, when you move them around, they don't flop around like, well, pheasant and rooster, which is really great when you're doing kind of a fancy set. But that's not what we're doing today. Today we're going to be using turkey, and we're going to be giving it a very rigid structure and shape. So these are great when you are using them for a set of wings that has a very specific shape and structure. Foam is also very good for very specifically shaped feathers, and because what you can do, if I have this tight enough here, what you can do, I mean, rounded is cute and all, but that's not what we're going for. I want to get a swoop. So there's two curves on this feather. One curve goes this way, and then the other curve goes this way. So what we do on the front side is we curve everything forward. So, you know, when the bird flaps its wings, the feathers point down and inward. And so we want these pointed and curved inward. But then we also, normally, these would curve down. On most, you know, on the wings of the actual bird, they go this way. So this goes on this side. But what I want is, I want these to look like they're swooping up. And so to do that, we're actually going to have them upside down, technically. And I am going to cut them, like so, to give them a swooped look. So like that. And so now all of my feathers will curve. And you can, you could do this so that they're pointed downwards too. I don't know what wings you're making, but that's what I do. So, okay, good. So, one person watching. Hope you enjoyed that little tidbit. Alright, so I have not had the chance. I've been working on these all morning, trying to get them ready to go, but and I was kind of hoping to have all the feathers done and gilded before I started, but that's not happening. Or rather, it didn't happen. I want gold everywhere on these. So what I'm doing is, you know, I did these test feathers to see all this extra gilding everywhere. I did this little test gilding to see how it would look on the feather, and I really like it. I really like the shiny gold. I think it looks really pretty, and kind of hard to see. But yeah, so I'm definitely doing it on the yellow ones, and I'm going to do a little bit more than I have here. On the orange ones, I'm going to just do a very little sliver. And on the red ones, I'm actually not going to be using turkey by the time I get to the red. I might have a little bit of turkey up at the base of the wrist. Come in. Thanks. I might have some of the quills at the base of the wrist, but for the most part, it's going to be Goose shoulder, which I dyed this morning, and they're still drying. So, and those are just going to have, like, right at the tip, a bunch of little flecky flecks, and they're going to be so pretty, and I'm so excited. But this is a lot of work, so let's get started. And I will answer questions as you have them, and as they come up in the feed, so feel free to ask anything you want. Pull up a chair. Let's hang out. The other thing we want to do on these is take off the base. This does nothing. It has no fuzzies. It is It's not useless. You can use it for other craft stuff if you're handy. But they make great spikes and stuff. But on the wing, what ends up happening is it pokes through the other feathers that are layering above it. And you want to cover that as much as you can. And these make it very hard to cover the base. So just go ahead and clip all those off. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to just go ahead and make sure Adam is invited, since this is his gig. Alright, so ask away, hang out, do what you want, drink your mimosa. Hey! What is up? In case you were wondering what that knocking was, that was my husband bringing me breakfast. I haven't eaten yet. And I've been up since 5:30. So I'm going to multitask. Why don't we do this in layers? We'll do the yellow first, and then we'll put the yellow on, and then the orange. Put the orange on. Let's do that. So, why are you covered in fur? I just heard my phone buzz. Okay, so yellow feathers to start. So this set is being made using materials left over from other projects. The idea being that the less money I spend, you know, if I'm going to spend money, I might as well just give it to Adam. So, I'm going to go ahead and we're using kind of used bits. So, I'm hoping I have enough yellow. If I don't, what will end up happening is I'll fill in with some yellow fuzzies I have. I don't know if I have any orange fuzzies, because I might also run out of orange. But for now, what I'm going to do, get as far as I can. I think I've calculated it to the point, like, I've calculated it to the feather. I should have just, God, this sucks. I hate it when this happens. So that means I have to do that, because those kinds of damages make the feather useless. Has green on it. I don't want green. I made a macaw set not too long ago, so I have a few feathers that are also a little bit green. Hello, 6 people. Go ahead and ask questions in the chat. I'm kind of just working on getting these feathers prepped for, I want to shape them, and I want to get all these quills off, because those are a nuisance. To get things going. This feather is very white. I wonder why. I am keeping the green and like that one particularly white yellow feather, because I am low on these, so I want to make sure that I have enough to cover the whole wing. I'm silly. There we go. Forgot to make this public. No wonder I can't get anybody here. So yeah. No one has any questions? Not a one person? Hello, Jenny. For you Canadian crafters, I found an adhesive that seems to be a good substitute for the Loctite. Oh, what is it? Yeah, I have people all over the world that, you know, complain that my parts list is not available there, so I would love to know what you guys can use over there. My main thing is, like, it has to handle the humidity, and it has to, or it has to be able to handle humidity, because Arizona has none, which is fabulous for me and all, but causes problems elsewhere. It has to be able to do that. It has to be able to adhere well enough that it doesn't come apart, and it needs to not discolor the fabric. Kind of my requirements. So what do you got? Wallpaper paste was horrible, too wet, runny, and extremely long, and is made to have an extremely long tack time. Yes, it is. So what I did is I just hung them to dry and let it sit for a day. Now, I will say, again, I live in Arizona. Everything dries here in like 30 seconds. It's kind of silly. I missed a couple in the box. So, everything here dries in like no time. So I'm a little spoiled in that regard. So for those of you just joining us, I am shaping these feathers so that they have an upward swoop. This one needs more swoop. Let's get a little additional swoop. And I am going to be placing these feathers upside down. Hey, Adam, what's up? Making a Laughing Man Snow Parka was doing the fur lining last night at Craft Pizza. Yes, it does. And sticks to everything and it makes you sneeze. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. That fur. Feathers are the same way. This room is quite often just covered in fuzz. And, you know, you'll see by the end of this cast, I can show the, I will show the floor. It won't be pretty. Wrong side. While I'm doing this, I try, once I get to this point where I'm kind of done with the feather, I try and sort them by side. They come in a mixed bag, or in this case, they came in a mixed box of every color and size and shape and type of feather. But when you get it in from, well, most places will separate it, or won't separate it. They'll do a pound of feathers, and that pound of feathers is equal parts, one and the other. But they don't separate the two out for you. So you do need to know which side is which. If you want a messy look where you're, you know, mixing feathers like they're kind of going every which way, you can still use turkey, even though they're a more orderly feather. But you do, like, because they're an orderly feather, like if you try and make it look messy by, you know, not sorting and just grabbing whatever feather and just gluing it on, it's just going to look like a mess. It's not going to look messy. It's just going to look gross. So you still want to separate out right and left, and then you want to kind of artfully flip feathers back and forth as you go. The other reason for doing this is you might get feathers like this. There's an actual gap here, like there's feathers that have been damaged, and, you know, preening them doesn't fix them. So what I'm going to do, like, it's lucky that we're cutting off a bunch of stuff, because now it's a nice, pretty clean feather. Not a bad idea to just go along and clean up your feathers if you need to, you know. Even if you wanted rounded, like, that doesn't look good, so you could just go along. And turkey is really well, it's stiff and well put together, so it's actually really easy to cut to shape. It's time consuming, but it's not. Some feathers are really soft and floppy and are a real pain to get to a proper shape. Using indoor-outdoor carpet adhesive, Robert 6. Whoa! Thick, super sticky, and dries pretty much clear. Nice. Yeah, I think the only thing, like, with that you want to watch out for with the thicker paste, and I mean, like, that's what Lockite is kind of a thick paste like that, is that you want to watch out for weight. You don't want to lay it on too thick. If you do you'd be surprised. I mean, you know, I use I think a 40-pound tub, and I end up and I mean, it's a lot of water in there, or I don't know, some liquid that keeps it wet, that dries off. And so, you know, once dry, it's significantly lighter than it was when it was wet. But I mean, you know, I'm using half a 40-pound tub, so presumably I'm using like 20 pounds or so of glue, and, you know, once it dries, thank God it's not as heavy, but it's still a lot of glue and a lot of weight. So, but yeah, that's cool. So, okay, so carpet glue, huh? I will keep that in the back of my head for when people ask from out of town. Yeah, I haven't tried that either. I think that, I mean, I kind of went to the adhesive section when I did my experiments. I went to all the adhesive sections, so there's a rather large adhesive section near the paint aisle when I go out and I'm looking around. And I feel like that's where I stuck. I went there, and then I went to maybe like in the hardware section where they also have, there's like another little glue spot, but I hadn't thought of carpet adhesive. How many feathers do you estimate you'll need for each wing in the set I'm making? So, here's what you do. It's different for each color. So, if we look at the pattern, I don't actually think you're going to be able to see the pattern. Dang it. Alright, never mind. So in the pattern, you have your first layer of feathers hangs off of the edge of your felt, right? So you only need, you know, one layer of feathers for that layer. But for every other layer that goes on the felt, you need two, because you need to cover each side. So for this, I counted, I need about 20 feathers for each side, so about 40 yellow, which is my first layer. And then I need a similar number, because, you know, I don't need as many to cover the distance on the orange. So I'm hoping to get away with about 50 feathers in the orange, because it's so small. And then I'm going to transition mostly to red fuzzies. I'm estimating I might need as many as 5 red feathers, or sorry, 10 red feathers per side, turkey quill, and then I have dyed. I dyed way too many yards, but red is a color I do use pretty often, so, you know, why not? I'd rather have too much than not enough, because that is, dyeing is a pain, so, did it? So, the fuzzies I have, I think, yard and a half of strong goose shoulder, and I'll bring those in just a bit once they dry. Now that it's monsoon season here, like, it's humid as all heck. It's still hot, but it's very humid, so my feathers aren't drying as quickly as they used to, i.e. they're not drying in half an hour. They're now taking a couple of hours, so they should be dry here pretty quickly, though. Did you gild any more feathers? Nope, not yet. That's something I have to do right now. I was, just that funeral yesterday kind of threw me for a loop. It was down towards Nogales, which, it took about 2.5 hours to drive down there. Because we're all the way up in Chandler, so we're not too bad, but, it was 2.5, 3 hours, and then of just driving one way. And then you got, you have the services and everything, which takes a zillion years, especially. He was Catholic and a deacon, so, I mean, the service alone, I think, was like an hour and a half, where the priests talked, and there was, everybody took communion, and so on and so forth, and so that just takes just a lot of time, and the burial didn't take long. Grandma Noriega is such a sport, she knew it was coming, and Grandpa was at peace, so I think she's pretty well. She seemed pretty good. And so, she didn't take any time. They said, do you want us to lower the casket? And she didn't. She was like, yeah, do it. He gone. Which I thought was pretty cool. Like, that she's so, I don't know, resilient? Or, I don't know. We knew it was coming, so maybe she just was more prepared than I would expect to be. And, yeah. So, but anyway, so neither here nor there, sorry. But yeah, both that whole thing, it pretty much took up the whole entire day. So I just didn't get a chance. Like, yesterday was my day to get things done, and so, therefore nothing got done. What are you gonna do? That's alright. Family comes first. I'm okay with it. I'm using barge for my set, but I also want the glue to get through the fabric a little, give it a nice stone-like look. Yeah, and you can use, like, those stone-like fabric, or, paints that kind of give a mottled look, and I don't know how well those would stick on, but that could, having glue on both sides and have it kind of mess it up so that it looks, and paint it so that it has varying textures, does look pretty cool. I think I just used gray. But the foam has its own, is porous, so it already has kind of a stone-like look to it. Am I not sorting these? Because I feel like I have a giant pile of one side and none on the other. And I counted them the other day. Should have well, not totally equal amounts of each. I should have something close. We'll find out, I guess. If not, I can always order some more feathers in to finish them off. I want to get them just photo ready so I can do a photo shoot tomorrow for the auction. Ooh, hey. I have to go back up. I was putting it up. Okay, yeah, you glue everywhere. Oh, yeah. And, I mean, that's kind of I feel like a mess is inevitable when you're crafting. I mean, you can already see this pile of fuzz that's just built up, and it I'll shift my weight and it'll blow across the room and get everywhere. So, yeah, I hear you. What I do, I think in the video I have the parchment paper underneath to help keep glue from going every which way, so that does help also. I might need to order more. Oh, or I could just I do have some of these green ones. I can use those for shorter feathers, because what you can do, I'll show you in a second, hold on. Let me finish. I'm at the home stretch. I also have some yellow fuzzies I can kind of supplement at the base, so that's nice. I do not have... Oh, okay. I guess I do have 20 feathers. I just have more on the other side, but... Let's see. This is the side I need, too. So what you can do, these ones have a little bit of green on them. So I'm going to cut off the green. This feather's useless. I'm going to cut off the green. And you can actually, I think they're going to be too short once I cut off the green, it looks like. Darn it. But if you ever have a tip that's bad or whatever, you can always cut it down a little bit and still use the feather for the most part. Alright. Get that over there. Push it over near my breakfast so that they blow onto my food. That's exactly what I want. Did you gild any more feathers? I answered that one. I think I probably do. Dude, it gets everywhere. It's just like glitter. It just sticks to everything. And you're welcome, Adam. What don't look good? Sorry about your grandpa. How's your grandma? No, this is it. So this is Grandma Noriega, which is my husband's grandmother. And my grandmother has broken her hip again. This is the third time. Like, I don't even know which one you're referring to at this point. First she broke one side, and then she broke the other side, and then she felt like she needed to split the difference and break her tailbone and pelvis. But she's finally back at the house. Ooh, drywall texture spray. There's a thought. They're gonna get heavy though, aren't they? The fleece layer on this said, did you glue it to the chicken wire and wire frame or stitch on it? Okay, so that's all just glue. You glue the one side with overhang. Everything should have an overhang. And then on the top layer, I folded it over and glued down the top, and then put the other one on the other side and just kind of glued it along the top, and then went on the inside and just lines and lines and lines of glue. Don't use a spray glue on this for sure, because felt does not like to stick to itself. You got to use you got to use the hot glue that works best on felt. The stone effect paint doesn't look like stone on the fabric. Oh. Well, alright. Are you not doing foam? Here, I'm going to eat a little breakfast, since it's already, 11:30 and I still haven't eaten. And there's still only 6 of you. So, before anybody else shows up, if anybody else shows up, you better suck this down. Chicken and eggs. Breakfast of chicken. Alright. Well, now we need to do the gilding. So I'm going to roll out rolled out some of my paper that I use for everything. Because we do not want to make a mess. Inevitably we will. So that's unfortunate. But okay. So I'm gonna start with this side because I have more feathers on this side, might as well. So for the longer feathers, I want the longest one, like super long. So I can't, sometimes what I'll do is when I have a feather that needs 2, but it doesn't need too much more than 1 feather, I'll do something like this where I'll just extend it a couple of inches so that it can get to the fabric. But the first couple of feathers I really want as long as possible. So I'm going to go through this pile of feathers and find any of them that look particularly long. It's a little thick, but that one's alright. This one's pretty good. And once I get, I'll do like a second, lightning round here of these longer ones. How many long feathers do I have? So this is where it's really great. This is where it's really great to have your pattern. You can double check everything and count everything out. I have about 1, 2, 3 feathers that are going to need as long as possible, which means I need 6 total long feathers. I might even do like a third at the base of this very big one. Let's see. You need to make a dispenser for those paper rolls. Well, so the problem with a dispenser is then I have to lug a dispenser around. I can just roll it out. It's not a big deal. Because I don't always have it in the same spot. Let's see. I can't see what I'm doing. Yeah, so let's see. What I'm going to do is take the 2 longest feathers here, which happen to be these 2. What you do when you are making a longer feather is you just glue 2 of them together. I know, fancy, right? So you want at least a couple of inches to be on the felt so that it's stable. And I feel like this isn't quite long enough. But only by a couple of inches. So I'm gonna find another short feather and just stick it on there so that I can get those extra couple of inches. I'm also going to bend the feathers so that they are a little flatter. But and when you're bending turkey, you want to be very gentle and just like I'm trying to get this feather a little flatter without actually breaking the feather. So see how much flatter it is already from the curve. Well, it's hard to see. But. So it's more fragile the closer you get to the tip. There we go. And yeah, so you don't want to break them, and you don't want to make them, weaker. So you just got to give it just a tiny little dent. Okay, well there's that. I'm just going to give it a little extra space. And what you want to, for this, because I'm just gilding the tips, of these, I do really want to make sure that I'm not like gilding the tip of this one and this one, because then I'm clearly defining layers in what should be an individual feather. We're kind of trying to trick the eye into believing that it's one feather when it's clearly not. So, do this. So, the way I do it is put a couple of inches of glue at the base, and then you want the front side of the feather to always be showing. So like you don't want to, what I've done here, if you can see it with the two feathers, what you don't want to do is put this thick bit at the bottom. Like it just doesn't look as good as covering it up like that. So always have the base of the feathers pointed to the back, like so. It's because, 99% of the time you're like taking pictures of the front of the wings, not the back of the wings. So put the messy side to the back. Okay. So I'm going to let that set for a couple of minutes. And then I'm going to make my other long feathers. So this is the next longest pair, I think. Yeah, and these are about the same length, which is good. We want to make sure, like, these are going to be smaller by virtue of the fact that I use the longest two feathers for the longest feather. And you may find that if you're doing long feathers that, you don't want to use your longest two feathers and your next longest two feathers, because, they're going to be too short, if that makes sense. You might have to mix, but I think I'm going to be alright with that. And I do have to keep an eye on the time, because I do have to leave around 1 o'clock. So we do have a full 2 hours to craft our lives away. How many did I say I needed? I need 3 super long ones, but I do still need like 2 more probably. Yeah, 2 more that are double length feathers. So I'm gonna go ahead and make those. And I'm keeping them kind of in order. Of length, because I do want them to be in order of length once I finish. And then the rest of these are going to go at the base. So, yeah. So now let's get to a gilding. So, you should probably do this inside. It's 100 zillion degrees out, so I'm not going to do this outside. I'm going to do it inside and possibly suffocate myself. Hello, Lenina. Welcome to the chat. Please feel free to ask questions. Right now, I am trimming and gilding the feathers. I want everything to have gold because I'm crazy. And I like shiny things. So, what I need to do, let's see. I need to mask these off. And I think I'm going to, I can use a couple of the same pieces of masking. So, don't glue it to your butt this time. I'll try. I want to get more, like, from the test feather. I definitely wanted more gold on the yellow especially. I want to give it a pretty good splash of gold, and then on the orange, kind of start to taper it back. Whoops. There we go. But yeah, I want a good bit of gold on this yellow. Do. Oh, wow. I'm not sure if I can stay until the end. It will be midnight here in Germany. Oh, hey! Welcome from Germany. That's awesome. I'm sorry that, I think somebody around the world would be unhappy with the time I picked. So, it was either this afternoon, evening, which most United States people would prefer to go out drinking, so, and including but not limited to me. So, kind of had to pick a time. Just pick the time that worked best for me. Sorry, but if you're a patron, I'm trying to do more and more of these craft casts. Should be fun. And if you're not a patron, well, honestly, good luck. I do answer patrons way more than I answer other people. I will say. Sorry. Hello from Zil. Oh, nice. I don't speak Portuguese, but hi. Is it still Ola? I only speak Spanish and English, obviously. Alright, spray the tip. And this stuff stays tacked for a while. Where'd the gilding go? Okay, put it away. That was silly of me. So this is gold leaf, loose gold leaf, not the stuff that comes on the sheets where it's glued to the sheet, because I need this to very delicately go on, and the glued stuff doesn't always glue on the way I want. It like sticks to the sheet instead of the thing I'm trying to glue it to, which is the opposite of what you want. Let's just swing out a couple of gold sheets here. This is not real gold. A caution. Once I finish these wings, what I will do is actually seal the tips with a clear kind of gloss at the tips, which will help protect the gold from moisture. Because, I mean, if it was real gold, it'd be fine, but it's not. Because I am not that rich. Let's be real right now. And this fake gold can turn green if you live somewhere humid, which I don't, but, who knows if you're getting this, So, a lot of people use a brush. Actually, do I have one? No. A lot of people use a brush to get this stuff on and to get it into the corners. Honestly, the finger works just fine. Just press it on. And peel off the masking. Oh, it's so pretty. I can't even deal with my life. Get out of here. Alright, well, it's going to be glittery too. I'm so excited. I'm excited. I'm going to do a photo shoot tomorrow and get these babies looking their best. We'll do a little Firebird shoot. That'll be sweet. I don't know. I think I might want to trail this gold down a little bit more. Let's do that. Again, like last time, I said if you're going to, do it once and then do it again to do kind of like what I'm doing where you maybe change the shape or whatever. You got to mask the gold that you just did, and you got to be careful about that because if you, like put the tape on it, the tape can pull up the gold you just put on because it is very delicate stuff until you seal it on again. Even if you're sealing it onto something like a chair or, a prop, it is pretty delicate until it's sealed. I'm going to just use this to do one of those. And then I'm going to get glue in my hand, which is going to be great. Right. So, last little bit of gold. Find it takes about, I don't know, not a whole sheet of gold do a feather like this. It can when I'm messing up like this, but for the most part, if you calculate a feather or per sheet, you should be good when you're doing work like this, where you got a little bit of. Yeah, I like that better with the whole base almost being in gold. Love it. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna adjust this one. Make sure that your feathers are pretty when you do this. All right. Thank you. I'm glad my videos are helpful. I know it can be. I had a lot of frustration when I first started making wings because I was trying to find tutorials and finding them was so difficult because a lot of people, there's a couple ways to protect your product, and one of them is to get a patent, and you need to prove that it's your idea and, not somebody else's. So you can't get a tutorial on the internet and then patent somebody else's stuff. They have prior claim. And then, secondly, whoops, well, there was apparently glue on there. Good. And then second, the other way you can do it, if you don't have that prior claim, is to just not tell people how to do things. And I have to say that I don't like that, because when I was trying to learn to do this, I'm not looking to steal anybody else's idea. I wasn't looking to recreate their product. I was trying to create my own using, their techniques, and then I always try and make them better in one way or another. And so, but, nobody wanted to reveal their secrets, so I went ahead and, using the tutorials I could, build up to where I am now. And I think I got a pretty good system for most things. I'm always trying to make things better. Nothing is ever good enough. So that's kind of my way I go about it. Is I just constantly trying to improve. And yeah, I don't know. People keep asking me why I bother putting out tutorials. I should keep it to myself so I don't have competition. But I think most people aren't looking to make your thing. They're looking to make their thing using your techniques. And if you are stealing my ideas and just making profit off of that, well, what am I going to do? Everything's fine. Okay. I do have to do both of these sides, but I'm just going to go ahead and get the one side first and flip them all over. I don't have my glasses on, I can't see very well. The green would look kind of cool, though. Yeah, I mean, they'd look kind of cool in a different setting, but I think with the gold and the kind of Firebird look, blue would be better if I had an appropriately colored blue. But I don't. So, woe is me. Now I'm trying to put glue in the same spot every time, so that if I need to move over, I can. I'm not wasting gilding, especially once I get to the other side. I don't want to be, I need to move the feathers to a different spot, because you don't want to set the gilding from the one side on the the glue because it'll pull off the gold. You're having real problems trying to make them. Are you a patron or are you just following on YouTube? Yeah, on the... What have I done? Oops. You piece. I definitely don't want to be doing this whole time, but I am determined to get at least the first layer of feathers on for you guys. This is no longer sticking. Alright, fine. Adam, you walked for the first time in 3 months. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Are you, like, are your feet feeling better? Or, was this with or without assistance? I know they had you standing with the help of that one machine, not too long ago. You're trying to make static wings you can glue to your own skin and hide with makeup. You can actually do that. I did that with a set of fairy wings, but they have to be very, very light, so they can't be super large. Not without creating a latex back piece that then, like, it fits into the latex back piece, which holds, you know, and hides any kind of strapping you have or whatever, and that's kind of the only way to do it if you have large wings, and that's a big old pain in the rear. I will say. I think I made this too big. I did. Let's do that instead. Hey, you're just following on YouTube? You haven't? Oh, okay, so you just started? Yeah, I mean, go through. I don't have a whole lot on static wings yet, unfortunately. Kind of the demand right now is for everybody wants to make moving wings, which I understand. They're really cool. But I do want to get a better static frame tutorial out. And I was thinking about doing it for this one, but unfortunately, just because of the live casts, it makes it hard to kind of talk to a camera and to the it's hard to talk to the camera for you guys and then also try and make things work for a more traditional tutorial. You started creating without Googling. I mean, some people just want to go. I mean, if you have an idea of how you want to make it and it works, that's great. I'm the kind of person that does a lot of research first. Like, I'll look up 800 tutorials before I even start, because, you know, one person might have a tutorial that's useless, and you know, I think that something won't work, and then I keep looking until I find a tutorial that... And a lot of times what will happen is I'll find a good idea here and there in various tutorials, and I won't necessarily I won't find it all in one place, you know? You're going to 4 different tutorials to get the information you need. But I don't know, I like doing lots of research first. But that's just me. So for those of you who are interested, there's a link in the description below. The purpose of this cast is to help raise money for my friend Adam, who's in the chat, who just walked today, which is awesome. To help pay his medical bills, there's a donate button down at the bottom, and a link. And so I highly encourage you guys to click on that and just donate $1 if you can. If you can't, I understand. It's no big deal. But we will be auctioning these wings off, and that's probably going to be the moneymaker. But if you're willing to throw $1 at Adam, we would really appreciate it. Oh my god, the chat has gotten out of hand. You had a walker. Cool. Hey, that's progress. You don't think a harness would work that you wanted to do? Yeah, I think you're just going to have to stick with a really light set, and you might have to compromise some... I don't know what all you want to do for your pictures or your costume, but you may end up having to... just making them, you know, really small might be the only way to go. They're a pain in the ass. Zero Craft video is a pretty good tutorial for static wings. Sorry, the articulated wings are a pain in the ass. I mean, they're both a pain in the ass, technically. Thought about the static ones because it's for performance at college. Yeah, I mean, there's limitations. I mean, we don't have a way to just, you know, implant the wings to the body without severe amounts of pain. So, you might have to do new straps, honestly. Like, the wings have wind resistance, so you're gonna have to secure them to you really well so that when you turn and do anything and walk around, they don't just blow off your body. That's a problem. My breakfast is officially cold. So, I don't know, with costuming, there are always compromises. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Goodness. I'm fine. You know, you may find that what you want to be able to do is impossible just because of the weight restriction. I don't know. And it also depends. I mean, the shape helps. The folded wings, instead of outstretched, have less wind resistance and have a tendency to be easier to work with in general. They tend to not necessarily be lighter, but just that, again, that wind resistance is a pain in the rear. So just watch out for that. You don't like. Ah. So if you can reduce your wind resistance as well as weight, that'll definitely help get you moving to the point where you can maybe just glue it to your body. But I mean, like the fairy wings I wore when we glued it to my body, I have to say, were, I don't know, they weighed maybe 2 pounds. Like a kilogram and a half. And those were hard to keep on with just the latex. So, good luck to you. I do believe in you. I think you can find a solution. And let me know what it is once you find it. I'm not allowing links. It's not in the description? And I haven't not allowed links. Hello, Adele. Welcome to the chat. Oh, I see. Hold up. I don't know where to not. Let's see. I mean, it doesn't have anything that says it might just be YouTube that's not allowing it, because I have restricted mode is off. Optional features? Nope. Sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you. I don't see anywhere that I can turn on links, I guess, or the ability for you to link. Would I ship to Brazil? Yeah, I can. I don't know everybody's import-export laws. I can put your address on them, and they will arrive in Brazil, and then you have to figure out what your country wants from you from there. And honestly, you should probably call them ahead of time and try and figure that out. I've had it where, I had a customer in England that didn't look it up and got very angry at me that his package hadn't arrived, and it turned out that he was supposed to pay import fees and go pick it up at the customs office. Like, it wasn't gonna just show up at his house, and I told him I can put his address on it and it'll, get there eventually, but I don't know. Sometimes there's weirdo laws like that where there's something you have to do to receive your package. You can't just import something. So I don't know what those laws for you are. I sometimes have to have certain paperwork that I, have to put on it, and that I do know. I'm told when I drop it off and say I'm shipping it somewhere, it tells us that we need to, you know, put certain paperwork with it. But other than putting in the appropriate paperwork, there might be something you have to do on your end. That they can't. You know, the U.S. Post Office cannot tell me what every, you know, they don't know every law of every country. They just know, you know, required paperwork. So if you would like to order anything, the likely answer is yes, I can ship to your country. But I don't know what that entails on your end. I'm doing a couple at a time because this one in particular got a little too much glue on it. So when the glue is super wet, you want the glue tackier, not like soaking. Because once you put the gold on, like the gold doesn't breathe, so you want to be able to. Yeah, I think you're pretty too, Willie. Yeah. That's my bird. She's a silly goose. She's very good at making that noise whenever my husband is taking his shirt off in another room. She has a sixth sense about it, I think. Pretty funny. My father taught her that I don't take responsibility. All right, starting to truck along. Oh, whoops, shit! I hadn't pressed down yet. Ah. There we go. Shipping international is usually about $150, give or take. I mean, some countries it's been as much as $250, but I mean, like that was Israel, and you had, oh God, I had to have so much paperwork with these stupid wings. It was ridiculous. Though the moving wings, you will not, under any circumstances, be able to glue to yourself. They require a lot of support. They weigh, even if I do a pulley system where you're holding on to them, even if I do a pulley system, which reduces the weight by, 4 or 5 pounds, they're still going to weigh over 10 pounds, you know, and that's a lot of weight. Like that, there's mountains of latex will not keep that to your body. So, you know, that's kind of the downside. Like I said, there's trade-offs. It's not, can't always get all the pieces you want. Engineering can only go so far. Sometimes I get these little spots while I'm gilding. They don't want to stick very well. I don't know why that happens. And I don't like it. Gold everywhere. Alright. Never say that. Engineering goes forever. I mean, that's true. Eventually, it'll get to the point where it's possible. But that day is not today, sir. Sadly, the trade-off of having cool moving wings right now is that they're heavy. And the more complicated and larger they are, the heavier they get. So, sadly. Dang it. I just, like, wasted an entire leaf on the tape, which I don't need gilded. Darn it. Stuff isn't, like, expensive to the point, and I have a lot of it. It's not expensive to the point where, like, if I lose a week here and there, I'm too upset. But at the same time, they're not. It's not the cheapest material on the planet. So we prefer not to waste, if I can avoid it. Bye. I'll see you later, maybe. Turn the chair around. I think I missed something in this chat. I don't know what we're talking about with chairs. Alright. Just a couple more to go, and we will start on one side so you guys can get an idea of what these are going to look like, because we're already at 12:11, so I knew this gilding was going to take longer than I wanted, and I really wanted to get it done yesterday, but people dying on me. What are you going to do? Okay, I'm loving this. I mean, I realize you guys are probably bored out of your skulls watching me put gold on these feathers, but it's looking so pretty. And I know what it's going to look like. Like in my head, I can already see these, what these are going to look like. We're doing a photo shoot tomorrow. I'm going to cast that live as well. So if you guys want to see them all finished, I'm going to, on Facebook, I'm probably just going to do a Facebook Live. I think I can do that on my business page or whatever. And I want to go live, and for a couple of hours right before the auction ends, I'm going to do, while we're doing our photo shoot, kind of go live so everybody can see them in action, because I think, like, video does the gold and the shiny a little more justice than just pictures. Just see them glint in the sun. So pretty. Another way to do this, let's see if this, because these are not the sticky ones, this is kind of sometimes a bad idea, but I'm going to see if it's not, it doesn't work okay. Nope, never mind. Well, I tried. So the ones with the sticky back, whatever, like stay on the sheet, and you can like lay the sheet on, and then it's supposed to adhere to wherever you put it onto. The downside being that there is some adhesion to the the paper itself, and so then you end up with, whoops, well, that's not what I wanted. Okay, so I'm starting to get a problem where gold from the this glued part is getting on the back of the feathers, which I don't want. I kind of want to have this orderly look to them. So what I will do, or what it should do, get this to where I'm working and continue with my day. Okay. But there's a chance you could do a small... What are we talking about? The moving ones would be to keep, not to tear apart. Thanks for all the help. Blah, 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 blah. Adele. What did Adele say? How would you go around sitting in the wings? You just sit. So the wings have, like, they close to the point where, like, I always engineer them so that the base feathers don't go past, theoretically, where your butt should be. So you should be able to sit down. Now, sometimes they're too long. Like, if you get a really big set that goes all the way to the floor, you're going to need to sit in a stool. Or you can sit, like he said, I saw turn the chair around. You can turn the chair around and, like, lean on the front of the chair. And that's what I do. Or just take them off. The floor is not off limits. You just have to take your wings off. And I do. I take breaks when I'm wearing them. I will, dang it. I will, you know, I have a handler whenever I wear my wings. It's absolutely essential to be safe for both you and everybody around you. So I go ahead and I have a handler, and that handler helps me put on and take off my wings when I need to go to the bathroom or whatever. And I mean, that's just it, is I just take them off. They don't take any time to take off or put on again if you're doing straps. And if you have it corseted, I mean, it takes a little bit of time, but, you know, you're going to need to take breaks regardless, because, I mean, they're heavy. They're heavy enough that you'll need some time out of them throughout the day. And yeah, but if you go into a panel or whatever, yeah, just turn the chair around, or I take my wings off then too. Again, if they're on straps, like, it takes under a minute once you learn how to put them on and take them off. It takes under a minute to put them on and take them off. So I encourage people to take breaks. And then what I do is I just set them on the side. You know, I always pick a place along the wall. And then you turn the wings upside down so that it's sitting on its, like on the wrists, basically. Turn them upside down and just let them hang out until the end of the panel, and then be on your merry, put them back on and be on your merry way. I think I might need a new mask for this. It's starting to get not as sticky as I want. Did not get enough glue, so I'm just going to try and get, just got the little corner there, some glue. And I mean, you can glue, it's not the end of the world if you get glue on the building, because you can just glue more gold on top, but it does, it gets weaker the more you have it stacked on, so enough. Oh, I moved away from the chat somehow. Whoa. Okay. Did I build them yourself? Oh. Well, and what you can do with the armor, you might be able to like set up the armor so that the armor is a part of that backpack. So like if you have pauldrons or something, the pauldrons either directly like have Velcro that they just stick on to the backpack pieces, so that or loop into the backpack pieces. Because what I mean, you could even you could even just create little loops that the backpack straps kind of slip through, and then they'll slide forward and backwards a little bit, and you can just kind of get them situated where they're supposed to be and tighten everything down, and then that way and then when you take the backpack off, the pauldrons go with it. You could do that. Armor does make things a little trickier if you're keeping everything separated, but if you kind of try and incorporate everything together in the costume, it might make it a little easier. It will mean that once you get out of costume a little bit, once you get out of costume a little bit, you can't just take off the wings and take pictures with, the rest of the costume and no wings, but limitations. Like I said, everything's kind of a trade-off with wings. They're really cool, but they're heavy. They have wind resistance. Don't go out on windy days. You have to secure them to your body. A lot of people really want wings that look like they're coming out of their back, and they want them huge, and then they also want them to be able to latex on, and they want to actually be able to fly. I don't know. There's, and unfortunately, all of those things at this time do not exist together. So, right? Yeah. Just kind of put the armor pieces on. Well, and that's the thing is like with my back piece. Oh, I don't have it here. Dang it. So I have one that has an armor back piece, and then like there's straps that go like along the side, and then that attaches to the front piece. So. And what it is the backpack has the back plate on it, and then it's strapped on the one side for the front piece. And, I have stuff underneath. And so whenever I want to take it off, you just unbuckle, and then it comes off. And that way the whole back plate, like, stays nice and, secure, and it looks really great. And then it's super easy to take on and off. I look a little silly without, having anything on top and then stuff on the bottom. Hoping to premiere that one in the near-ish future. Haha! I beat you to the punch. Alright, last feather. Woo! And then we'll go ahead and put them on. What time are we at? 12:23? Haha! We might get one layer of one wing done. I was really hoping to have all this gilding done so that I could just, like, throw this on, but unfortunately, that's not what happened. But that's okay. I'm still gonna finish these today. I'll finish these tonight after my thing. Get you guys some pictures so you can see what they look like. And they will go up for auction tomorrow. Yeah. Right. Alright. So now, you might be wondering why I have yellow feathers with red felt, and that is because whenever you're using felt, you want to go with your darkest color, and you want to definitely go with your base color. So if you have a really dark edge color and you're going to a lighter color, you may want to pick something in the middle. You always want to have kind of the darker of your, oh shoot, I have to do the other side. Dang it, I don't want to. I want to just start feathering. Dang. Alright, fine. Just keep it. Hopefully this side will go a little faster. Now that I have something to work with. This double-sided is only on the yellow. Only one side will be visible on the orange and the red. So I only need to do the outsides of those. But on these, because they will be visible from the front and the back, I need to I have glitter all over my face. I can totally see it. Ah, that's okay. I can go into public with gold all over my face, right? That's totally socially acceptable. It's fine. Yeah. Oh, love it. Now that I have the front done too, that's kind of the more important of the sides. So, takes the pressure off doing the back. Oh man, this is taking 10 times longer than I thought it would. Well, that's not true. I knew it would take long, and I didn't want to believe that it would take as long, but boy is this pretty. I mean, God, I don't even think that... It looks like it's like dipped in gold. Liquid gold. It even like picks up some of the... what are they, the barbules? I should know this. Ah! Well, somebody hates something. I missed out. You hate my gold feathers? Too bad. I love them. Oh, you hate the weaving angels. Yes, okay, that's fine. I love them. I think they're creepy and delicious. And they are the creepiest monster in Doctor Who. I agree. Which is why I love them. I like creepy. Creepy is good. Just one last little piece. I don't know if you guys can see this absolute disastrous mess that I have in here now. Well, they're supposed to be Firebird wings. I actually do have a shit ton of blue. And I'm not actually, like, I was digging through and I found another bag of blue. And so I have 2 bags of blue. And the reason, I know exactly why I have them. It was for, I did a couple of blue sets and, you know, I lost one of the bags. And they ended up not needing the full bags while I was working on them. So I had the bag I lost, I have now found, and I had the and then, you know, I didn't use a full bag on each of the blue wings that I did make, so it ended up in the end me using, you know, having a whole freaking bag and a half of blue feathers. But I gotta figure out, like, I agree with you that I want to make a blue and gold set of wings. I just gotta figure out a shape that I want to do. Like, I gotta figure out, because the Firebird look is nice, and I guess I could just do that again, but I want to do something a little more unique with the blue, and I don't know if I want to bring any other colors into it, or what, but it's on the list of stuff to do. I think that just it's more dynamic to have the Firebird with the multiple colors, so I have more fun when I get to do more colors. More color. Because nobody ever orders colored feathers. They always order gray, or they order black and white. Damn it, I've done it again. Yeah, black and white are super popular, and so 99% of what I do is black and white. Boring. So, I do like making Firebird sets. I like making rainbow sets. I just didn't have enough feathers to do a rainbow set. I need to order more for a rainbow. But I might do that for the 1 in 10 event that's coming up. I actually have the blue. I'll show the gold and the silver on the blue in a second. I still have them floating about the place. But yeah, it does look really good. I think the gold looks better with the dark blue. I thought the silver would look better, but I don't know. Gold and blue looks good. Yellow and blue looks good. So close to being done. Articuno? White, blue, and navy blue. these are kind of already close. Well, they're dark blue. They're royal blue, not navy. I gotta see what I can get. I know I can get light blue and I can get turquoise. There we go. I'll have to look. Do Articuno. Yeah, I'll be at Sabo. I actually have 2 panels I'm going to be doing. So you should come and join me for my panels in all their glory. I really need to update them because there were some slides missing during Phoenix Comic Con, and I need to go through and double check that I have everything in there. Because I know stuff was missing, partially because I hadn't, taken pictures of things that really needed to be in there. But I wanted free tickets to Phoenix Comic Con. Ended up Phoenix Comic Con was lame. I mean, it actually was pretty cool, but boy, with that prop ban though, ruins everything. So I did have quite a tough time, and for a while, luckily a friend of mine, one of my friends, he has a bunch of pairs of my wings, and he was wearing them into the con, and they weren't letting him in. So he knows people that run Phoenix Comic Con. So he called them, and he had to go in the underground tunnels underneath Phoenix Comic Con to get in because he was wearing a banned prop. It wasn't really banned; they ended up lifting the restriction, but to the point where he could actually go in, but it was kind of hairy there for a bit, and he ended up having to be led in under the underground railroad of Phoenix Comic Con to get his prop in. Silliness. But yes, long story short, I will be at Selma. It's gonna be awesome. I was actually planning on going to Dragon Con this year, which is the same weekend. But circumstances are not going to allow me to do that. Mainly, I've got too much to do here that I can't take that much time off. But I can take the weekend for Sabo. Okay. Also, I couldn't find a handler that wanted to go with me. I need a handler. Handlers are important. Hey! Be nice to me. Yeah, they were pretty bad, actually. I had the one, the static wing tutorial, I think, I had put together that morning, right before I left, because I had no time previous. So I'm hoping they'll be better and a little bit more organized for Sabo. We'll see how it goes. It was a lot of fun, though. I had a lot of people come up to me. And there was one girl in particular that was losing her shit. Because I guess she's followed me for a while. She was pretty cute. And I don't know. I was really sad, though, because I couldn't wear my Hawk Girl. Because my weapon wasn't allowed in. My wings weren't, day one, the day I was planning on going in, found out they weren't letting in, wings. And so I was like, I didn't even bother going, but I was really sad because that's a crowd pleaser, and there's so many young girls that love Hawk Girl and lose their minds over that costume. And it was really sad because that's one of my favorites to wear to Comic-Cons because it gets so much love from the kiddos. And kiddos are adorable. I love them. Alright. I'll be doing wing making panel. Almost done. For realsies this time. Just like 5 more feathers to go and we can get this party started. MCM won't allow wings. They wouldn't allow wings, honestly. Like the prop ban, the reason they weren't allowing wings the first day was just because, you know, the guy tried to bring weapons in, and I mean, he was caught, thank God. But then, you know, high alert status, they just weren't letting. They were like, no props at all, and people were like, no wands, no pokeballs, like really. And I remember somebody commented, like, well, what if somebody disguised a detonator as a sonic screwdriver or whatever? And I was like, man, nobody's going through that kind of trouble. They could just use their phone. Like, they just need to call the detonator. That's it. And the hard part is getting the bomb in, which, you know. That I can understand, but I mean, their main concern was guns, so they didn't want, you know, people bringing in realistic-looking fake guns, and, you know, causing confusion for police if there was an actual threat, or actually bringing in real weapons. So, and that's the thing, is like, this guy didn't go to the guy that had the weapons didn't go through the peace bonding process. So, I mean, that's already a clear signal when he doesn't have peace bonding. That's kind of the point of peace bonding, is to make it so that it's easy to see that his weapons have been checked by a police officer who has said it is not a real weapon. Or if, you know, in the case of some of the swords, it's bonded to the point where people can't take them out. I don't know. It was silliness all around. The whole shebang. But I had fun anyway, even though I didn't cosplay it. Like, I think I wore one costume in the end, I feel like. Yeah, I wore the Muse's costume, which didn't even have wings. Because, you know, a couple reasons. One, like, I didn't have to worry about the prop ban. Although we were worried about our flags. We did color guard, so. But yeah, it didn't have wings, and then the last day, I could have worn wings, but I was just so upset about how I wasn't able, you know, I couldn't bring any of my weapons in. Like, my costume would have been half complete, so I gave up. Which isn't a good attitude to have, but I was just tired. Tired of trying. I don't know if you guys can see this gold, like, just flying everywhere. It's everywhere. Oh my god, last 3. Ready, set, go! So yeah, this takes a long time. We've been here, what, almost 2 hours? This is about all I've done. This one side. Yeah, it's gonna be a long night. Adam, you should stay up with me. You shouldn't. You should rest. I'll watch Animu and finish these off for tomorrow morning. That's how that'll go. And no one will stay up with me because my husband goes to bed at like 2. Not really. He goes to bed at 9. Sleep is important. People ask me why these cost so much. And I reply, because it takes freaking ever to make. These static wings don't take that long. They only take a couple of days. Moving wings, on the other hand, those take weeks. Alright, is that everybody? Just this last one? Woohoo! Cooking grease now. Alright, she done. Alright, now the fun part. We are going to very delicately arrange these into the wing we want. And then we're going to have to match the other side after I gild the other side. Step 1, I'm going to fold up this gold to keep everything as tidy as possible, which isn't very tidy, but you know, we're going to do our best. I want to, let's see, let me do this. I want to keep these in order because they are like in order of size. Well, these ones aren't. These ones out here. But the fold over ones are. And then scissors. And of course, there's still gold leaf all over the board, but. Yeah.
You want to room? Yeah. Am I riding with you?
You can ride with me or you can ride with Brian. When are you guys leaving?
Yeah.
Then you go with him, and I'm leaving in another 15 minutes. Everybody's leaving without me. That's fine. Okay. So, here's the fun part. Okay. Whoop. I haven't actually looked at the chat in a bit. You're not allowed at MCM. Oh. What are they afraid of? I don't understand why. I mean, I get with the terrorist attacks. But. At Gamescom in Germany, it was saying, yeah, everything's been a little on the. Well, and that's definitely part of why they overreacted at Phoenix Comic Con. Was because, the reason they overreacted at Phoenix Comic Con was because of what happened in Manchester, I think. So. Hoping PCC takes after SCCC in doing the 2 to 3 weapon prop checkpoints before entry, so we won't have to worry about it. Yeah, that's the thing, is like, I don't know why they had, that was part of the problem, is they had weapons check inside the gun. It's like, isn't the point to keep weapons out? They were also severely understaffed, which is how Phoenix Comic Con does it every year. Phoenix Comic Con, I mean, it's a business. They're trying to make as much money as possible, so they try and find volunteers and try and, you know, operate with as few people as possible. So, when a crisis did happen, they had nobody around. So, I just have to eat my cold breakfast because it's now 1 o'clock and I still haven't eaten today. So, give me a minute. I can still answer questions though. Going through half of my leaf supply for this set. No, I am not actually. I bought, for another project, a mountain. Like, I bought a stack of gold leaf this thick. And I have used it for a stupid number of projects. And this is putting a dent in it, I will say. I'm using a lot of gold. 9 p.m. in England. Sounds about right. Sorry to be keeping you up. I am going to be leaving here in about 10 minutes. So now's the time to ask your final questions. Okay. That's enough of that. You guys go ahead and ask your questions. And I am going to start leafing these. And this, basically, all I'm going to do is you want to have at least 2 inches of glue for the feather. Like the base. And on this one I'm going to have a little more since it's a big feather. And then you just start putting them where you want them. Making sure that they're rotated the way you want to. Because they will have a tendency to want to like droop down. No! Get back up there. Where'd my glue sticks go? I moved them. How could I? They were in a bag. Where did I move the bag to? Ah. Hiding. Can you get a different color leaf? Yeah, leaf comes in a couple different colors. It comes in a kind of copperish, reddish color, which would have been really cool for this, if I had any. It comes, let's see, it comes in silver. It comes in, there was for a while this red color, and I actually haven't been able, since I saw it the first time, I haven't been able to find it, at a, like, in the sheets that I get. I've seen it as kind of like the dust-on, brush-on stuff, which I don't like nearly as much. And it's much, much, much more expensive when you buy it in like those small little bottles versus buying it in these sheets, so. So this is the last of the double-sized ones. So I really want to bring it in. I want to bring this one in just a touch. Yeah. Because you want to be able to transition pretty smoothly to the smaller feathers. So you want to make sure that you don't leave these too long, even though you have a double-sized feather. And then you want to sort through your pile. And again, find kind of the longest feathers. For this one I needed super duper long feathers for the tips, as you can see. So I did not reserve too many, and then the base was quite a bit shorter. So I did not reserve too many super long feathers for the bottom, but I do have a couple in here. If you're making a static set, reserving a couple of long feathers, like 2 long feathers for this transition here, is a good idea. If something to keep in mind, like if you only have like 5, this one's actually longer. You go here. You go here. Reserving one of the long feathers for this transition from 2 feathers to 1 feather is not a bad plan. But I want this to be like super long and then everything else stays pretty short, so works out alright here. And I don't know how many of you have watched the tutorials, but again, when you're putting these on, keeping in mind that you get a fan from the wrist and then you have a fan from the elbow. So we want kind of this, and I want this to be a pretty solid sweep instead of having too much of a dip in here, but I will put a small one, and I will make sure that my fan, we get a nice fanning motion and not everything's sticking out in the same direction. It looks better when they have a little bit of a fanning shape. Is Adam still hanging out? What do you think, man? Oops, wrong side. Careful. Oh, I love them. Okay, sorry, what? I hope they have some on eBay too. The gold leaf, they should have. If you search gold leaf, they have stacks. Although I might have gotten mine on AliExpress, to be honest. Yeah, this is, I think, 100 sheets isn't too bad. The stack I have is 1,000 sheets. But I mean, like I said, I've been using it for eons, and I still haven't managed to use much of it. So 100 sheets is probably more than enough for most of your tinkering needs. Okay, so it's starting to get short here at the base. And if you want it short so that you're not stabbing yourself, to be honest, you want it to stay kind of, one more I think ought to do it, and that'll be the base. Oh, we even have one spare feather, which is good because this is the number of feathers I have for the other side, so we good. Oh, it's so pretty. It's shiny. I don't know if you guys can see how shiny it is. I don't think you can. It's too pretty. Is it shimmering? I don't know. But yeah, so there's that. And then we're going to go through I'm actually going to touch this with a touch of red paint at the base of the, or not red, orange paint at the base of these yellow feathers so that there's a better transition. It creates this really nice dynamic look. So then we're going to go in with the orange with just a little bit of gold at the very, very edge. We're going to put a layer of orange, which will make it all the way to the bottom. And then, as you can see, there's a lot more space up here at the top. So that's where I'm going to be using just a couple of red quills up here at the top. And then it's going to be all red fuzzies to cover the top of this baby. So, what's the difference between predatory birds and normal little birds? Well, predatory birds eat meat, and normal little birds also sometimes eat meat. I don't know. There's not much. Predatory birds hunt for things that can move a lot faster, I guess. Yeah, and for tinkering, okay, so Sorkea, I believe is how you said you pronounced it. I'm probably wrong. 300 for 20 bucks is pretty good. And the fact that, I mean, if you want to just play around with them, heck yeah. Why is there fishing line in here? Oh, sorry. My husband just brought a fishing pole. I don't know how his fishing line got in here. One eats humans and the other eats worms. Wing-wise. Well, so that's the thing, is it depends on how the bird hunts. So a predatory bird that glides is going to have much bigger wingspan, and they have a different shape to their feathers. And, you know, birds that ride on the wind tend to have long, angular feathers, kind of like, well, like a glider. You know, there's no answer to that. Because predatory birds and little birds, technically, it's not about whether or not they're predatory or not, it's how they hunt. Because most birds, in fact, are predatory. The parrots are, I guess, fruitarians. And so they don't need to make quick movements, I guess. Like, actually, I don't know, having owned parrots, they're clumsy as shit. So, whereas, owls and such are pretty precise. But, like, an owl has a similar wing shape-wise to a finch. It's just size. Well, so crow and raven, interesting fact. Crow and raven wings are actually different. Crows are meant to, crows have to flap to get height. And they're not much of a soaring bird, whereas ravens soar. So, there's that little fun tidbit for you. But yeah, crow wings, I mean, just look up pictures. And then draw your full-size sketch. So. Yeah, they are. They're awesome. I want one. I want him to hang out of the house. And I shall call him Frank. And we will be best friends. That's not going to happen. But I can dream. Alright. So, I have a movie to get to. And I'm already going to be late. So, but we have assigned seats, so it's fine. I'll see you guys later. Any last questions before I have to change clothes? But change clothes and then run out of the door. Anybody? Going on a train with a raven. I feel like that's dangerous. I feel like ravens are temperamental creatures. Which is in their nature, and that's fine. I love them anyway. Because they're adorable and crazy intelligent. Good. Alright. I'm off. I hope you had fun, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow when I do a live cast to show you guys the modeling event we're doing to take pictures of these and get them sold. So that'll probably be a Facebook, not this link, but it'll be a Facebook Live. So if you have not gone to my Facebook, it's at The Crooked Feather, and I hope to see you guys there. I am seeing Dunkirk. So anyway, love you guys. I will talk to you later. Bye.